Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. Now today I'm discussing Dragon Ball with a very special guest. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, I am Hail Zeon.
The realest motherfucker in the Dragon Ball community?
I get called that frequently, and I have called myself that in the past.
Yeah, so we're bringing you a segment to my channel called How to Fix Dragon Ball, where we sort of get people on the channel to discuss how they would fix certain story arcs, how they would fix characters, and today we're discussing the Frieza arc. So, Zeon, would you like to sort of give us your pitch on how would you fix that arc?
Yeah, first off, I'd like to say that we're not calling the Frieza arc bad. We know this is one of the most beloved arcs of all time, so please don't crucify him or myself for this. But, you know, it is one of those arcs that gets really put on a pedestal, and you know, people are like, yeah, because I say, like, you know, like, I think Dragon Ball's writing declined around the Frieza arc, and a lot of people are like, what? How could, like, what's wrong with that? That arc's amazing. It's one of the best arcs. It's my favorite arc. And it's like, I get that. I understand what people get out of it, but for me personally, there's a lot of things that really kind of drag the arc down. Specifically, the pacing. There's a lot of extraneous parts that happen in the arc that are just there to kind of drag things out. The Ginyu Force really don't need to be there. All they're really there is just to collect the Dragon Balls, to which then the characters, after dealing with the Ginyu Force, get the Dragon Balls back. So all of that, like, is completely unnecessary. All that does is get Goku in the healing chamber. So really, you could have just, if you just remove the Ginyu Force and have Goku show up, like, when the Frieza fight happens, you get, like, the exact same effect. Goku shows up and he fights Frieza. Yeah, and so So the entire Ginyu Force, very, very extraneous, didn't need to be there. Also, because of that, because you have Goku show up, have his big damn hero moment, then he gets his ass kicked, is in Healing Chamber, shows up, has his big damn hero moment again in the exact same arc. So he does it twice. And it's just kind of like, it's really repetitive because of that. Also, like, Frieza's, like, second and third forms, once again, just more things that are just there to stretch out the arc. You know, you could have just had him go straight to his final form, and then there's the whole, I'm only using, like, any of my power, now I'm only using half my power, oh, now I'm using 100%. You know, like, having him hold back a bit is one thing, but just having him use, like, specific percentages of his power is weird, especially considering earlier he's talking about how fearsome his final form is, and how he can't even control his power in that state. Yeah, he can control his power well enough to use like a tiny percent, and now, oh look, I'm at 50. Oh, now I'm at 100. Yeah, that was pretty contradictory statement from him there. Let's see. Then there's like other little things that just kind of hurt the series in the long run. I feel like the Zenkai boost. It becomes really gimmicky. I don't think either it just needs to not be there, or it needs to be nerfed, and it needs to be a bit more consistent in like how much of a gain these characters are getting, because it's just like Vegeta uses it so much, like, you know, as you put it, like RPG grinding, basically. So
yeah, I think
yeah, there's that.
they can still have the Frieza forms,
would you
but
add
like,
anything to that?
the whole point of the Frieza forms is to like hold back his power. So even in his final form, why does he need to hold back? Just like let him beat the shit out of the the Z fighters. I don't get it. Like, he's holding back in his final form. It's just weird to me. Like, he was just doing that in his first, second, and third forms. Why is he doing it again in his final form? And the Zenkai Boost concept I like, but maybe, like, they really need to, like, I don't know, like, maybe they just need to put a cap on it or something. I don't know, like you said, it just seems really, really gimmicky, and it only applies to this arc, you know.
Yeah, because the only other person to get a Zenkai boost after this arc is Cell, a non-Saiyan. And then, yeah, so that was just kind of weird. You know, like I said, that whole concept of the Zenkai boost never goes anywhere after this arc. There's just, like I said, it's just these little things that just don't end up adding up to much later on. Also, this arc completely throws the power balance out the window, because you have Frieza, who's already in his lowest form, is above everyone except Goku, and then, like, I guess Piccolo and all them. But then, he gets more transformations and more transformations, and now I'm only using this percent of my power, now I'm only using this percent of my power, now I'm at full power. And then you have Goku, who's using like Kaioken times 20, and he's still getting his ass kicked by a 50% Frieza. And then he goes Super Saiyan, and then they're having this big epic clash, and then Goku but now Goku has like this 50 times multiplier stacked on top of him, after already dwarfing everyone in power. It's like, how are people supposed to, like this is what buries all the non-Saiyan characters. Even Piccolo, like, eventually, like, they try to keep him relevant by having a fuse with God and all that, but then, then he gets left in the wayside, too. And if you really want to keep these characters more relevant, I would say, removing Frieza's transformation, plus, having Frieza toy with his opponents, oh, I'm going to go to this transformation, now this one. It's like up until this point, Frieza's been shown as very ruthless, straight to the point, will kill a guy in a second without thinking twice, and now all of a sudden he's playing with his food. It's just like, just wipe him out, that's what he really wanted. And, I feel like, once you get to, Goku, and then, he's using, the Kaioken, times 20, and Frieza's just kind of playing with them, it's just like, why doesn't Frieza just kill him? Why doesn't he just break him like he did Vegeta? And, the reason is because plot contrivance. Goku needs to not get killed because he needs to be the hero. So, just pretty much, scaling everyone back down so that way, in future arcs, characters don't get left behind as quickly. Have Goku max his Kaioken out around, 4 or so. Bring down the scale on the Super Saiyan transformation. And, just little things like that that'll help the series in the long run. Because, really, the Frieza arc is when just the power scaling just goes right out the window. And just the Saiyans become the top tier guys, everyone's just bottom tier garbage, and it's really impossible for anyone to even be remotely relevant if you don't have Saiyan DNA.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more just sort of the smaller things which Toriyama didn't really seem to think about is what we're trying to fix here, because the arc as a whole, it has a nice sort of story. I think the transition from the Saiyan arc to the Frieza arc and sort of them going to Namek is the strongest bit. I'm not sure about you, but it's just the stuff when they get on Namek and they meet the Ginyu Force and stuff like that they need to work on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff, because, I really do like a lot of stuff in the Frieza arc. I still consider the Frieza arc fairly damn good, all things considered. All these things I'm talking about, they're fairly minor things. It's just, they're things that just kind of drag the story out and make it a lot longer, more bloated than it needed to be. I feel like you just trim the fat in some of these areas, nerf a few things, so that way, the power scaling makes a little bit more sense in the long run. Just, you'd end up with a much stronger arc, because, when they first get to Namek, that I love, you had that whole kind of power dynamic between Vegeta's systematically picking off Frieza's men, Frieza is, collecting the Dragon Balls, you have Gohan and Kuririn, they're, trying to not get slaughtered by these way powerful people here, waiting for Goku to show up, and you have this really great dynamic of just these three different forces just kind of going around. And then you have the Namekians that are trying to fight off against Frieza's soldiers and Nail and the Grand Elder. I mean, there's so much. There's so many great bits of lore expansion. It's just there's just like I said, just these little things, and especially considering. Just kind of how vacant and bland Namek is as a setting. It's islands, trees, and water. It is basically just a giant battle arena for these characters to fight in. That Toriyama didn't have to worry about continuity because he could just have them fight wherever. It didn't matter. And and there's nothing wrong with longer arcs. I was telling you, the what was it, Red Ribbon Army arc. Really good arc, fairly long, but Goku was going on this big epic adventure. Same thing with the Piccolo Daimao arc. He was going on this, he was searching the world, going on this big adventure. You kind of felt the scope of the world that he inhabited. Here, everything looks the same on Namek, so you're not even feeling that scope of an adventure. It's just, there's this kind of power dynamic going on, and then a whole bunch of extraneous fight scenes with these characters that are just there to make the arc last longer. Like Zarbon, Midoriya, they're perfectly fine. They can stay. You know, just little things, just like I said, trimming the fat, you know, just changing some things up so, you know, the power scaling makes sense in the long run. And you'd have a phenomenal arc. Like, I still think there's a lot of great stuff in this arc. It's just, like I said, just bloated.
I think, as you were talking about the Ginyu Force before, I think if they cut it down to maybe 2 or 3 members, then that would, like, as you were saying, trim some of the fat off of this arc, because Guldo is pretty much useless. He's pretty much there to make Vegeta look cool, you know, when he kills him.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I guess if you just kept it down to, like, Jeez, Buddha, and, Ginyu, you know, you'd probably have, like, a good little 3-man dynamic, but then again, like, they're going for the whole Sentai thing, and the Sentai is the 5-man team. Yeah, either way, though, I mean, yeah, you could, you know, maybe you could still keep some Ginyu Force, or you could just have the Ginyu Force there from the beginning. Like, you know, maybe remove Zarbon and Dodoria and have the Ginyu Force there, or just make Zarbon and Dodoria members of the Ginyu Force and have like 5 guys that are on the planet the entire time. So once you get to the Ginyu Force part, you're already down to like 2 or 3 guys, because Vegeta has systematically wiped out the others.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I really like the beginning, how like Vegeta's sort of sneakily going around and just, you know, blowing up members of the Frieza Force. I really like that concept, you know, him just going around very, you know, covertly. I really do like that. So that stuff is fine. It's just when it gets to the Ginyu and sort of the Super Saiyan, you know, power scaling and all that, you know, jargon, when that gets sort of out of hand, that's when it lowers, you know, that's when Neo.
Yeah, I think we pretty much, though, like, agree on, like, you know, like I said, you know, it's just minor things, and that just need to be fixed. Is there anything else you'd want to add?
Not really, man. I think this is, you know, a good, sort of, alternative to the Frieza arc. I think we've fixed most of the issues that we had to. So yeah, I think.
And like I said before, don't crucify us. Like I said, still a good arc. Just it could have been a smidge better.
Yeah, nothing's perfect. So yeah. No, exactly. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Please go subscribe to Hail Zeon if you haven't. He does great Dragon Ball content, really in-depth super reviews, and they're actually critical reviews, you know. That's a lot of that's one thing that, you know, most reviews on YouTube is lacking, is, you know, the you know, being critical about things and not just fanboying. So if you want that, if you want sort of a more sort of raw take on super reviews, please go check out Hail Zeon. Links in the description down below. So yeah, see you later.